Hello, fellow world builders. I'm Lewis Nichols. I'm a tryhard when it comes to setting the scene for characters and players. I like to know what my adventurers' clothes are made out of and how the local economy works. I've been doing this for a while. I made my first campaign map back in the 80s. I'm pretty good at the basics, and my hobby of world building is probably the reason I've become a pretty good researcher. We all know what our search histories look like, whether it be as a DM or an author. Today, we're going to spend a little time in the mountains. It's a tall subject, but I think we're up to it. The shortest mountain on Earth is considered to be Mount Wycheproof. This great Australian summit is only 141 feet or 42 meters tall. That's shorter than many hills. How does that work exactly? Well, as a world builder, you can define these things however you want to. On Earth, the difference between a mountain and a hill is more about the grade of the slope. Hills tend to be smooth, and mountains abrupt with distinct peaks. Mountains form naturally over millions of years, usually where tectonic activity is at work. Plates crash together, driving the ground upwards, or separate, creating volcanoes. Now, this is fantasy, so there's a good chance that your mountains came into being as a result of some unnatural upheaval. I still think it's pleasing to the eye and to the senses of your audience if most of your mountains at least imitate their earthly counterparts. We all know Mount Everest is Earth's tallest peak at almost 30,000 feet. After that, there are over 100 mountains over 7,000 feet. Remember that anything over a mile and you start running into oxygenation problems. At 25,000 feet, you need air tanks. Now that's on Earth. You can do what you need to do. On my world of Pellicar, I went a different route. You can go as high as you want to, and if you can survive the cold, air is not going to be a problem. Now, mountains are what I call a border biome. On Earth, mountains tend to create the borders between political states. They are difficult to cross and sparsely populated. So when you're handling overland travel through mountains, some areas might reduce movement to just a few miles a day for your hikers. Mountains are where the monsters live, another factor that makes them inhospitable to settlement. However, it's mostly because of the availability of food and relative isolation. Mountains are where the dwarves live. Yeah, that's legit. It's kind of it's their thing. The same can go for gnomes or other similar species. However, this is often true because mountains are also where the caves are. This is all very tropish, but there's a foundation to it. The forces that create mountains, again, this is Earth physics, also leave behind gold, silver, and gemstones, plenty of other materials too. On fantasy worlds, you can pile on thousands of years of artificial cave building by the spirits, rock eaters, and miners, and this all reinforces those wonderful cliches of mountain dungeon crawls. Oh, and hey, if you didn't notice, mountains are where the mountain passes are. Yeah, mountains restrict trade routes. If they are passable at all, it will just be by a few easily regulated routes. These are natural locations for fortresses, or some of those dwarven cities. Now, this isn't an episode on dwarves, but I should say one thing about them. They still have to eat, and often we think about dwarves eating quite a lot. When you're world building, whether it be mountains or something else, make sure you always think about your food sources. Now let's talk about triangles versus topography. On a map, mountains often look like this. They add a lot artistically. A map that's nothing but flat land is really boring. However, when you are actually thinking about running a campaign in mountain regions, the map should look more like this, or this. This is next level topography, so I would say you should lean heavily into stealing or copying real world locations. You can modify as needed, but don't refuse the help that your homeworld has to offer. Now that's been 5 minutes on mountains. This video opens the door to a series of world building exercises in mountainous terrain. According to the plan, at least one of my next 3 videos will definitely be on this subject. In the coming weeks, you can expect another random encounter video and another world building exercise centered around river settings. As always, leave a comment if you want to talk to me about something in particular. I am totally open to suggestions. In fact, all the attention the last river building exercise got has definitely caused me to alter course. Thank you all for stopping by today. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Until next time, cheers.